Welcome to Two Guys on My Podcast. I am your host, Jason Thompson, and the illustrious
Jeremy Connors.
We come to you from an undisclosed location in upstate New York. It's been a while. It's the new year, first show of the year, and it's mofo cold.
Listen, it's colder than a well digger's ass.
Hey, I'm telling you, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. I think it's the longest stretch we've had in a couple of years of cold weather here. It's terrible.
I would agree.
It's like Iceland cold, Greenland
cold.
It's both.
It's
I think it's funny how in the upcoming year here, Donald Trump takes official office January 20th.
Yeah, it's coming.
And it's coming. The certification was done. It was great. Did you see Harris?
Listen,
that was like everybody got up and clapped. They're like,
it was great.
And she's like, oh God,
Loved
I don't want to be here. But as we go through and we talk about American imperialism. Dun, 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 dun. Donald Trump's been talking lately about, Iceland, Panama Canal, Canada, maybe making the Gulf of America.
I can't wait to swim in the Gulf of America.
Great again.
Hopefully they'll clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, really. So what's your thought on all this? Is this just rhetoric, or is it actually going to take place? What do you think?
Well, I think he's putting a lot of people on notice, right? And when we look at it here, from a global standpoint, I think he's showing a leadership, right? Listen, Justin Trudeau, gone.
Best thing that could ever happen to Canada right there.
So it is, and I'm proud to announce that our own Jason Thompson will be running for prime minister. No,
I'm telling you.
No, shit. I mean, anybody could do a better job than that ding dong. He
But
drove Canada in the ground,
but
right?
Do you want Canada to be another state? Because you look at
a lot of liberalism up there.
BC is just like Washington. You'll have Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan, which are the breadbasket, the equivalent to our Midwest. Then you have Ontario, which is just like New York.
And the Yukon is all.
Well, Yukon's like Alaska, and then you have Quebec, which is its own weirdness in itself.
Great coffee, by the way.
Thank you. I made that myself. My mixed blend of Java.
Yeah.
And then you have the Maritime provinces, which is like Maine, New England type of thing. So if it's going to become another state, it would have to be like 4 different states.
Yeah, and is that impossible? No, it's not. Right.
I'd love to see that happen. I really would actually.
It's wild, right? And
we live in how's the saying go? We live in how's it go? We live in something times. Interesting times.
It is interesting, right? And I think one thing's for certain: we have a leader. He's leading. He's leading now. I mean, look at the statement he made to Hamas.
Yeah.
Release.
All hell will come down on you.
And when I look at that, that's leadership, right? This could have been avoided.
Like you said, it should have never happened.
It should have never happened. But this could have been avoided a year ago. And then I think the hostages who were killed at the hands of these terrorists, would still be alive today and return back to their families. And we just got done celebrating the holidays, right, with Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yeah.
I know you celebrate Kwanzaa, so Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, we celebrate them all. But I look at it, here we are, here we are, what? Hanukkah, right? We look at this, and here we are, just some 2 weeks to go with the worst president in the history of this country, has the balls to come out and
he's not doing it. That's a problem.
No, that's exactly it, though, right?
He has no clue.
There's a cast of clowns that surround him, and Barack Obama being one of them.
Oh, he's the puppet master. He's pulling the strings.
He is, and they're trying to stop the drilling in the Gulf of America.
Yeah, why would you hamstring the U.S. economy?
Drives me nuts.
I mean, it showed, when he came into office, or Biden did, and he repealed through executive order all of the Trump energy policies. Energy skyrocketed in our country.
It did.
across the board, not
Jobs.
just gasoline, but we lost the energy industry jobs,
Yep.
plus it led to inflation and everything else. What did he do a year to the election? He rescinded all of his executive actions, and energy prices started coming back down. And now as he leaves, he wants to destroy it all. It's like throwing a match into a tinderbox.
He's a treasonous pig.
He is, well, you said it. I agree with you, though.
You know, people will come on here and probably say, "Oh, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you saying that?" But he is. But you know, let's kick it back to a little bit local here.
Okay.
So we just had Supervisor Phil Barrett,
Mr. Barrett, yes.
Town of Clifton Park. He was re-elected as the county chairman for Saratoga County Board of Supervisors.
Couldn't have a
Congratulations
better
to Phil.
man. And you can always tune in to see Phil on his local podcast, the Phil Barrett Show on TGM Studios. Yeah.
Phil does a great job with the show.
He has great guests, always engaging, and
he works hard for the people.
He's always
not
working.
only for Clifton Park.
He's always working.
But for the county as a whole, and he's brought a lot of economic boosts to the county. You know, no tax increases. You know, world-class services to the county, and
he makes Clifton Park a great place to live, work, and play.
He really, you know, as cliche as that is.
I think that's their slogan on that sign.
Yeah, it is. But but it is. He does. He truly does.
Yeah, he works hard,
and he's built a good team up there. So he should be celebrated and congratulated.
And actually, speaking of a good team, the whole county's got a good team because our taxes
really
always go down. We're one of the lowest tax counties in the state. You know, kudos actually to Phil and his team, but also to every other supervisor and town board member in the county that helps as a whole make that happen, other than Saratoga Springs, which is the blight of our county.
Well, I'll tell you, though, it's a Republican team up there. You know, they're trying to ski uphill, right? They're trying to really make significant inroads to resolve years of degradation and years of neglect, right? Both physically, as we see on their infrastructure, but financially as well. So, you know, I know the mayor's up there working hard to try to right the wrongs, and you know, we'll see where that leads. Which leads me into another announcement.
Lead away.
I think
I know where this is going.
I will be running for re-election.
Well, here we go.
In 2025 for the council seat for the town of Half Moon. So
very nice. Congratulations. You've done a great job so far. I'd love to see you win again and continue on the on Half Moon's path to greatness.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot here, right? In the town, we've put in tons of new water lines, paving new roads, done a lot with the senior program, buying new buses for that program. Meals on Wheels. We work with the county hand in hand. Supervisor Tollison has built a juggernaut of a team as well in Half Moon, and couldn't be more proud of all the work, not only that our employees do for the people of the town of Half Moon, but our team at the administration level as well. So, as we move forward here into 2025, you'll be seeing the signs out there, and we're doing a couple of fundraisers and stuff. We'll have two guys and a mic live at one of our fundraisers.
That'd be fun. Good time.
We'll bring in a bunch of folks here, and I think going forward here, we'll bring in a couple of the candidates for the town, and hopefully we can get some folks maybe who haven't been exposed right to our social media platform here.
It's a great platform to be on, local as well as state. We also have some international reach, believe it or not.
Yep, and we'll get our messages out there. So I can't thank you enough too for all the support that you've given over the years. So.
Not a problem, my friend. That's what friends do.
So
they take care of each other.
Let's get back to business.
Yes, let's talk about Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump.
So I want you to tell me what you think. Okay, I mean we all kid aside about his imperialistic thoughts and comments and everything else. Although personally, I agree with it. I have nothing wrong with a little bit of imperialism. China and Russia have been doing it for the last 40 years, and we've been flat-footed and caught behind the eight ball where, through China with its roads and belt initiatives, owns deep water ports all around the world. They own infrastructure in every country. And the caveat to that is they don't pay or there's a change in their policies, China gets to retake over all those things, which gives them access all around the world, which is something we have lost. We used to have that post World War II, and now we have nothing. And
Right.
we have to, I think, a little bit of imperialism, whether it be through our economic might, maybe a military might, or diplomatic might. We need to start really becoming very aggressive and securing our homeland and our allies as homelands.
Well, I think America first, right? And
Absolutely.
President Trump and his team have that was their platform, America first. And when
Why is it? Sorry to interrupt. Why is it Democrats think that's bad? Why do Democrats think that America First policy is wrong?
well, it comes down to control, right? And they can't control outcomes. Then
Terrible.
they look at the American public as inferior and subordinates, and we can't have that. And when you look at a society, I think we need to look at it as a whole and say, everybody needs to bring something to the table, even if it's
Accountability.
accountability, work, just things that keep our way of life going, right? And
it's a unique way of life.
it is a unique way of life, right? I mean, Christ, look at us. Here we are on TGM doing a podcast, right? In some countries, we'd be jailed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which maybe we will be. I don't know some of the stuff that comes out, but hey, that is what it is. But when you look at this, I think we need to take a step back and look at why our government is been so neglectful for the past 4 years, right? Look at their scope and practices has been with whom? The Chinese government, right? They lockstepped with them, and there's a reason why.
Was it Clinton that gave China favored trading partner status?
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It set us up for failure. Many administrations ago, and President Trump, has the testicular fortitude to really make some significant changes that are not only going to impact us, but I think for generations to come. We both have grandkids, and I think when you look at it here, it's going to be positive for them.
Speaking of putting America first, sometimes putting America first puts you at odds with your own beliefs. Like we're all capitalists and whatnot, and yet Trump, and just like Biden, who did it for different reasons, they both. Well, Biden stepped in, but Trump would have as well. Blocked the U.S. steel merger with Nippon Steel. I think that's a national security issue, and I think that something like that, granted, goes against your belief as a conservative and a capitalist, but sometimes national security has got to trump every time. Not to use the word Trump, but has to take precedence over money.
I totally agree, right? I mean, our security and our safety is paramount, right? We saw.
I know there are people out there who are screaming at us, saying, "Oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about."
But but I'll tell you right now, I think that's number one, right? We need to secure our borders, which is going to get done here in a couple of weeks. Tom Homan, wow, no BS. It's he's got a plan, and the plan's going to get enacted.
I am glad though that they have toned down the rhetoric a little bit. When it comes to that, because at first you thought it made it sound like they were going to have goon squads going out rounding up people, anybody and everybody, and I've never was a fan of that.
I think a lot of it.
But I think if you're a criminal, you
gotta go.
You can't kill somebody and then say, "Oh, I'm going to stay in your jail for the rest of your life."
I mean, look at that poor 57-year-old woman on the subway in New York City.
The one that was set on fire.
The one that was set on fire.
What about the New York City cop that walked by? Yeah, but the New York City cop walked by. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, what do you? I don't know. It's but
stuff like that shouldn't happen.
But I'll tell you right now though too, Jay, is from a law enforcement standpoint, they're really an enemy of the state as well, right? If you look at it right now, anything that they do is ridiculed. It's second guessed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had the opportunity to work in law enforcement for many years. You're making nanosecond decisions, life or death nanosecond decisions,
and yet you're criticized.
For the rest of your life on a nanosecond decision.
Yeah.
And most of the people that are doing it are you're not innocent till proven guilty. You're guilty till proven innocent, and you're at the liberty of the keyboard warriors and social media warriors.
I've felt that wrath firsthand. I get it.
So it's wild. And I know we're bouncing around a little bit here, but we got to secure our borders. We got to secure, this U.S. Steel deal. Now I saw just today that the CEO and president of U.S. Steel wants President Trump to re-look at the deal with Nippon,
Trump won't let that go through anyways. It's for him. He looks at it as national security, and we need to have steel production in our country.
Yep. We absolutely.
It needs to belong to American companies, not foreigners.
Yeah, and let's even go back to a couple things he said, right, about Greenland and everything else. Donald Trump Jr. Took Trump Force One.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Charlie Kirk
with Charlie Kirk and a bunch
with a bobblehead.
Yeah, and a bunch of others, right?
Yep.
So why were they there? Well, Greenland is a strategic point. We have multiple military bases there currently. That is lush with precious earth metals.
That China wants.
And if
Russia
we can get
wants
in there
the oil
and do a block, we're going to go and do a block. I just heard today that there's tons of rubies there and everything as well. So
well, the other thing too,
there.
Joe, I think people don't understand is another strategic point with Greenland, and it's something that people don't really associate with Trump. But his reason for wanting Greenland has also a lot to do with climate change. Because as the Arctic Circle recedes, you're becoming more and more vulnerable through the oceans on northern attacks.
Right.
And right now, putting a huge naval base or an air base in that part of the world that you control, where a treaty can't get you kicked out, you then more heavily fortify your homeland. Before we used ice and icebergs and on non-navigable waterways because of that kind of stuff. And now those are opening up. These channels are coming out, and you can send submarines and ships. And
oh yeah, do I think it's possible? I think it's 100% possible. I think Denmark is poised to make $1 trillion off of us.
Money well spent.
Better
than spending it in the Ukraine.
Oh my God, yeah. And I think I think when you look at it, I think they're going to be able to be a viable country too, right? With controls that are going to be in place, and if they come in to the American fold it could be a province or whatever too, right? So
a protectorate like Puerto Rico.
Like Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yep.
But I think it's important. I think strategic to your point. I think that there's going to be people that are sitting there going, "Oh my God, you're crazy! What are you talking about?" But when you look at it, I think there's a huge national security issue here. When you're looking at geopolitical supremacy, this is it, right?
Yeah.
This and the Panama Canal, right? Because let's face it, China's trying to make a play in the Panama Canal. I don't know if many people know that. I'm sure all the folks out
keyboard warriors are
social media
on each side.
But I think that I think we're going to look at that. I think we're going to have.
That was weird.
Your glasses are ready.
Oh, thank you. I'll get them in a second.
Okay. But to have access to both coasts through the Panama Canal, and not having Panama holding us hostage through the Chinese government is an enormous win if Trump is able to do this. And I think he can do it. I think he's got the congressional support to do it as well. So
I think
you're going to see it.
We made a mistake when was it 89 or 1990 when Manuel Noriega, remember that? Attacked, declared war on the United States, and we actually sent some military down and plucked him away like the fly off your head there. And we should have just stayed there. To heck with it.
I agree, right?
Although little do people know, so Jimmy Carter signed this deal in '77, I believe, for the Panama Canal, and that actually wasn't ratified or actually given actual ownership back to Panama. It's very recent, December 31st, 1999.
Yes.
So there was plenty of time for us to relook at that and say, what a stupid move this is going to be geopolitically. But our government never makes good deals.
I mean, let's take a look at it, right? From just looking at Greenland, right now, we have the Chinese military vessels just outside there, as well as Russian vessels. They're a sovereign country, right? Or so they say.
Who, Greenland?
Greenland is, but they're owned by Denmark. So, all the riches go back to the homeland, if you will. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think when you look at it, this has been going on for centuries, right? American political leaders have looked at it and eyed Greenland. So, this is nothing new. But Trump is out in the forefront stating it. So I think there's a lot of transparency in this administration.
I also
too.
think we're in a different stage of geopolitical politics. I think the time of small countries, I think that's going to go by the wayside, and you're going to have regional and global, hemispherical governments type of thing for national security and economic development and social stability. And I think you're starting to see that with the BRICS and the North Americas and the EUs, all these governments joining together and marshaling resources to combat each other.
I would agree.
I think that's going to grow substantially in the next 20 years, where you're going to have, half the world be one, half the world be the other type of thing.
Well, it could be,
And eventually, I think we'll eventually become one, but it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of fighting and unfortunately.
Yeah, it's wild, but more to come on that, right?
Yeah,
that's gonna be wild.
We do, like I said, we live in interesting times. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things moving around, moving and shaking.
I'm pretty excited.
So, what was your? I know it's all out of the news now. It's gone, and nobody talks about it. What was your thought on all those drones?
Boy,
because that was something.
That was wild, right? We talked about that. What did I see? Something about the propulsion technology that's out there right now. I think it should be alarming to some people, right? Let's face it.
Do you think they were drones, or do you think it was extraterrestrial?
No, I think it was drones. I think they were drones sent there. I think there's a couple different theories about this.
Theory away.
Well, we talked about the nuclear missing nuclear warheads.
I heard that
that are out there.
Nuclear stuff. We don't know if it was a warhead.
Yeah,
or not,
stuff. They can't account for it.
Yeah.
So, and they believe that through a bunch of manifestos from these terrorist groups that allegedly seized this unit is somewhere on the East Coast, and potentially a dirty bomb in a shipping container. So, I don't know. Are they looking for that? Is there nuclear sniffing devices on these? I don't know. I sent you a couple of different theories on it. Now you're seeing that it could have been the Chinese drones that were put in the air, and
well, Biden did.
We're monitoring.
Yep, and Biden, if you noticed, one of his actions that Biden did there, he pardoned 2 Chinese nationals that were experts in drone technology.
Yeah, pretty wild, right? I mean, the pardons. People should be outraged.
Yeah, no kidding.
By these pardons, and people are going to say, George Bush did this, and Donald Trump did these pardons, but these people
are bad actors.
Are bad,
very bad.
Bad, okay, rapists, murderers,
and he did it on Christmas Eve, on Christmas week.
How about the families of the victims? What a disgrace! What a disgrace! What a dirtbag move!
Whoa. D-bag move.
I was gonna go a little different.
Wow.
And it's a kid's show.
It's not. Don't worry. I clicked that box. No kids.
But no, I'm disgusted by it, Jay.
The funny thing is, the news was all over Trump about his pardons and who he's going to pardon. He's going to pardon his kids.
The J-Sexers.
Heaven forbid. And yet they speak nothing, other than Fox News and maybe Newsmax, speak nothing of all the disgusting pardons that Biden has done.
Listen, Fox News, they've done a fantastic job of reimaging themselves here in the past couple of months. I would say 6 months. I think
Faulkner Focus is amazing.
I think they have.
I love that show. Gutfeld. You ever watch Gutfeld?
Yeah.
Oh, he's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My mom turned me on to him.
Whoa. So.
Well, she watches him all the time.
Yeah.
Don't get your head out of the gutter there, Jeremy. Jesus Christ.
Hey.
What the hell? It's my mom.
Canadians. So
Oh wow.
I still love you.
Oh yeah. Dirty
but
pig.
So I'm just discussing that whole deal there. I think it's a travesty what was done, and hopefully in the days to come that the families can come to some type of resolve. But I if that was a family member of mine who was a victim, I would be
terrible.
I'd be pissed, and I'd be angered. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's hop into President Trump's appeal here and his appeal bid. I believe it went to Supreme Court here today.
Oh, I did hear that.
Juan Merchan.
Want the Supreme Court to
are you
interfere.
doing? What are you doing? He's not even a judge. He's a kangaroo court judge.
Oh my!
He's a political
Banana
hack.
Republic is what
Political
we
hack.
Yeah,
Political
yeah.
hack. And I mean, let's
God,
see.
this is good call.
It is. It's awesome. I'm almost done. I've been pounding mine. Juan Merchan is.
Ron Merchan.
Yeah, he is a he. What he's doing to our president who was unanimously voted for, not only by the electoral, but the popular vote as well. So the people of this country have spoken. In this sham trial is disgusting, right? I mean, he's doing it a week before.
Of course.
Come on, what are you doing?
It's all shit.
What are you doing?
It's all.
Because the Dems want to go out there and he's a convicted felon. Donald Trump's a convicted felon. Well, let me tell you something. Donald Trump's a winner. He's a winner. That's all you can say. He's a winner. And the
kicker is that you could put
Alvin Bragg. What a piece of garbage. He doesn't. He's going to go and spend millions of dollars to try a bullshit case when he has hardened criminals on the streets of New York murdering people daily, going after police officers
I'm aware
daily.
Of that. A lot of people question that. Why that is the case?
New York City is a cesspool right now, and I'll tell you, the mayor down there, a former police captain.
Oh, he's changing his tune.
He has to.
He has changed.
He has to.
A lot.
Well, why? But think about
because the system is now running after him.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're coming after him.
Because he dared question them.
He dared question. He went after him over the housing, and who's going to pay for that? I mean, let's face it, New York City's broke. Look at Hochul. Look at Hochul with this congestion pricing debacle down there.
I thought it was funny how she reinstated that after the election.
And if you remember, that went to a ballot as a referendum and got shot down. So.
So she's circumventing the will of the people.
They're doing a lot of it. Albany is doing a lot of this, right? And this is what happens when you have the supermajority. So it's disgusting.
Well, people have to remember that on election day when they say their votes don't count, because every vote does count. Mm-hmm. And if you don't think your vote counts, look at every election where it's decided by a couple hundred people in thousands and thousands of votes. Just 30,000 votes, and there's a couple hundred swing one way or the other could send the direction of your country the way you don't want.
Yeah, and we've witnessed it numerous times.
Times,
and it's filth, pure filth. Let me run this one by you.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. You know for who? How about these fires out in L.A., huh?
Oh, crazy.
Devastating.
Have you watched any of the footage on that?
I have.
It is like, it looks like hell.
It looks like Armageddon, right?
In these beautiful homes and historic art galleries going up in flames. And they were saying today, as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, they had zero containment.
Yes. I just...
zero containment.
On my way in.
Do you realize how far you've got to go to get to 100% containment? With 80 to 100 mile an hour winds, flaming.
They got a lot going on. They got a lot going on there. It's not good, right?
And the problem is, the longer it goes, the more tired these people get. the slower the response is.
Well, the
mistakes
resources
hard
are
to happen. The
stressed.
Yes, it's not good.
No.
And then what does Biden do? Go on vacation?
Yeah, another one.
Is the
Another
mayor?
one.
The mayor's not even there.
No, I was just going to bring that up, right?
Yeah.
So Karen Bass is in Africa, the Democratic mayor of the city of Los Angeles, who is
As
responsible.
her city is burning.
So as of today, she's flying back, though. So rest assured, she'll come in and
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you
she'll
for
take
coming
care
back.
of you.
Thank
Take
you.
care
Appreciate
of
that.
you.
Los Angeles
Yeah.
loves you for it.
Yeah, Callie loves you.
But yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Unbelievable. And what's she doing over there? She's over there on a fact-finding mission. No, you know what she's doing? She's over there on vacation on the
Public
backs of
dime.
on the public dime on the backs of the taxpayers.
Yeah, what
Irreprehensible.
what fact finding mission would you go
get
to
outta
Africa
here.
as a mayor?
Get out of here. She's unbelievable.
You know, could you
Got me all
imagine
fired up today.
fired up for the fires in California?
Yeah. Pissed.
Could you imagine though your neighborhood's on fire. You see the fire line coming. You're hosing
Wow.
your house down, trying to save everything you've saved up for, and then it just goes away.
You know, Jay, I think it rolls back to wow, right? These natural disasters that are happening.
Yeah, but California is not a natural disaster. California is bad forest management.
It
It's
is.
been going on for years because the greenies are in control over there and don't want controlled deforestation to get the underbrush out because, heaven forbid, some little finch might get harmed. In the meantime, we're going to lose whole entire countrysides due to fire because, the little finch survived. Well, it's dead because now it's burnt and the underbrush was never cleared.
Right, and millions of dollars in property is lost, and
millions, billions of dollars.
Yeah, insurance rates go through the roof, right? So,
well, that's the other thing is that, coupled with the wildfires, is that these insurance companies have been pulling out of California, just like they're doing in Florida, because of
and it's happening here in New York too. By the way,
flooding.
I was just on the phone with my insurance broker, and if you need great insurance, I strongly recommend Destry Scribner. He hooked us up really good. We were getting screwed by Geico, and he was able to
The little lizard, the little guy.
He got me. He got me. But we were talking, and New York is starting to spiral out of control too. With insurance rates. Why is that?
The problem is uncontrolled claims.
That's it, right?
They need tort reform across the board.
They do, and
There's a lot of things that need to change.
this coffee's good, by the way. But yeah, I think there's a lot.
By the way, it's Chris's coffee service.
Oh, it is. Oh, this segment's sponsored by Chris's Coffee Service.
Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's just regular Java.
Well, Chris, you got a shout out.
I think I had Chris.
But let's go back to the environmentalists, right? We're seeing it here in New York right now, right, with DEC and all these new regulations that are coming out regarding wetlands and mitigating wetlands, and
and people who don't know what the hell they're talking about those.
Well, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're coming for property. Okay, homes, businesses are being moved or told to, get out of this area. You're no longer.
And it's happening in our backyards,
it
literally.
It really is. Okay. Be aware. Be aware. Do your homework on it and consult with an attorney immediately. Because what's going on here is you will be losing properties. You'll be losing your access to properties. You'll be losing, storage capacity on your properties.
I know somebody that's dealing with that right now.
Yeah, or building, right, for that matter.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to put my home here. I want to overlook the beautiful waterway or whatnot, and you purchase the property. You and your wife or your significant other have dreams of, having a beautiful home, and then
That's what we all dream for.
bam, what happens?
No go to hell.
No go. Nope. DEC said so. I feel for the people who are being affected by this, but definitely get out there and
Yeah, but can't the towns step in at some point?
No.
So what can people do about it?
Well, a consultant attorney is a strong recommendation that I will say, and I think that do your homework on it, and consult an attorney.
The problem, it's an uphill battle. Here you are, you want to build a home, you find a piece of property that you love, then you have the expense of plans, then you have the expense of building permit, then you have the expense of this, then you have the expense of that, and now you're coupling on, well, do I need to hire an environmental attorney?
Right.
I mean, it's just, at what point do people just say, you know what, screw this, I'm out of New York.
You just F-bombed.
I hate regulation. I hate burdensome regulation. It's a biggest pet peeve of mine. You know,
government overreach?
Do I believe that people should be allowed to just dump stuff? No, absolutely not. You know.
Well,
but at the end of the day, it is your property, and as long as you're not destroying your property, you should be able to do what you want to do on your property. And at some point, people have to be told, enough.
Yeah, I mean, so this was all passed in the cloak of darkness, and by Albany. So, these people are elected. Remember that. We go back to it. Your vote counts.
Yeah. And Donald Trump is actually, that's one of the things he wants to go through on the federal level.
Well, I think he needs to, right? Because let's face it, some of this stuff with the Army Corps of Engineers is crazy. They can hold a person or a property hostage for decades. And, I've seen it happen. It's horrible. And some stuff needs to be updated and reevaluated. I mean, listen, I'm a steward of the environment as well.
We all like our nice properties.
I like nice properties. I understand that, there's a finch to your point, or a butterfly or something that helps our ecosystem thrive and survive. But to handcuff a individual or a business and not be able to allow them to perform their duties or to build a home or whatever, let's take a look at this, right?
Life,
there's common
liberty,
sense.
And the pursuit of happiness
Common
also
sense.
comes into owning property.
It does. It really does. I mean, we're both going through it, right?
Yeah.
We're both going through it.
To some extent, yeah.
It's
some more than others.
I'm in the process of building a new home, and great builder, by the way, Jeff McDonald Custom Homes, great builder.
Did he pay for this segment?
He did. or I might have paid him for this segment, but no, but I'll tell you, it's but when we're out there, you're looking at this. I think it's definitely some stuff that needs to be looked at. We need to make sure that the government overreach isn't there in which takes away from an individual. And you've known me a long time. I'm an elected official, and I don't like government overreach.
No, I don't think anybody does. Anybody that's a mover and a shaker or a doer and a builder doesn't like government as a rule.
Well, I don't think government. I think they do like government, right? So because you do need.
How can you say you like government?
You do need forms of government, right? To keep things in line, right? You don't want people running wild, but in the same sense, though, too, if
I don't have a problem with cops.
Huh?
I don't have a problem with cops.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Other than that, I don't see it. I can't stand code enforcement. I think there's useless code enforcement.
Well,
if you want to build your house out of toothpicks, that's your problem.
Yeah,
that's between you and your insurance company.
But I think there's also, right, like I say, most codes are written in blood, right? That there was a tragic event that occurred. We can go back to the Triangle shirt factory fire, back in the 1800s. That was written in blood, right? And that's where most of our codes and stuff came from Uniform Fire Code. But when we look at it, I think we need to look at it from a whole and say, well, let me walk that back a little bit, because our codes now are unified. Okay, so it's not just state code. There's a lot of federal codes written within our state codes now, and our state codes now are more restrictive than the federal codes. So
do you do you also realize how much that impacts the price of overall goods?
Absolutely, I do. I'm paying for it
money.
now.
Yeah. So for example, as simple as a breaker in your breaker box. All right, you used to be able to buy a $5 breaker to put in your box, made by Square D at Lowe's. Now it's got to be I think it's a spark resistant breaker, which is now $50 a breaker. And if you have 150 breakers in your box, it now goes from $50 from $500 to almost $1,000 for breakers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane, right? And a lot of these codes are driven by insurance companies as well.
Of course it is. That's the problem.
So
That's another pet peeve of mine is insurance.
yeah, I mean,
Because they want their premium, but they don't ever want to pay out.
yeah, I just looked them up. I mean, we're talking anywhere from $56
Yeah.
to $80, depending on the load you're putting on.
Yeah,
You know,
if
the
you-
amperage.
Of
So.
course, that's what I mean. You could buy a $5 square D.
You coulda used to.
5-6 years ago was it $5? And look at the outlets you have to put in the kitchen. They have to be spark resistant. So when you pull it, there's a little slide that comes in, so that there's no arc that jumps. Those went from $1.50 an outlet to $4 an outlet.
I think they're even more than that.
More than that now?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that. I have an issue with granted, it's all in the name of safety. But if you're willing to give up safety for freedom, maybe you should have neither.
Well, I look at it common sense, right? Everything when you look back at things, it's common sense.
But I'm anti-government, so not that I'm not anarchist. I just don't. I'm a libertarian, so I don't want government in my grill.
Yeah, here I am.
And here yet you're my friend. I'm out of here.
All right. We gotta get more coffee.
I could definitely go for more coffee. Maybe I shouldn't have more coffee, actually.
No,
I'm getting riled up.
You are getting riled up. I see. You're red in the face.
No, it's just a light bulb.
Tell you one thing though. You know, what a couple of weeks coming, huh?
Yeah. Actually, in 2 weeks I'm going to Detroit.
Rock City hockey.
Yeah, going to a
How did I
hockey game.
guess?
I'm going to a hockey game. Yeah,
Habs,
visit
Habs fan.
Visit some friends and
see Trudeau.
let's see the Tricolors playing against the Red Wings. Yeah.
You know that is good. Who's going out with you?
Gina, my wife.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to visit some friends.
We love Jean.
Yeah. Gina's a saint. She's a saint.
She's a patron
She
saint.
puts up with me.
I'll tell you one thing. That's a full-time job in itself. Trying to put up with you.
It's like managing, rounding out cats with me.
Yep. Herding a cat right here.
I said to her today, I'm like, hey, G, we're going to go to Detroit next week. She goes, what? I got to work. I'm like, take it off. We're going to go to see a game in Detroit. She goes, we just came back from vacation. Yeah, we got to go again.
It's cold here.
Oh, it's going to be even colder there. It's higher up. But
it is.
The only difference is it gets darker later. Oh, that's the one thing I have to say against I have against Donald Trump.
The time.
Shut your mouth. I want to get rid of standard time. I want to stay in daylight savings time. I want to keep that hour of daylight. I don't want to lose it ever.
I always thought it was like a cool thing, right? Like especially when you were a kid, you're like,
can't wait. Yeah.
This, why? Oh, I'm gaining an hour of sleep or whatever, right?
But you don't ever. But it's impossible to lose.
It was just it's a mental thing, I guess, right? But again,
but to think
people are going to look at us.
We're going to lose our 9 o'clock day, lights. I don't know.
People are going to call us traditionalists, Jay. Huh? Sad.
I yearn for a traditional America again.
I do too. A lot of people laid down their life for a traditional America, and here we are.
Here we are. 2 weeks away from a traditional America.
Oh God bless the USA. We can't clean and flush the toilet quick enough in Washington D.C. And let's get back to that. What do you think about the speaker vote?
I was just going to say, I have to say I was very disheartened at the not sure, two-part.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy he got voted in. I was disheartened with the shenanigans that took place.
I was
3 days before.
I was as well. Too. Hit pieces.
You've won the freaking majority.
Yep.
Shut your mouth. Circle the wagons and stick together. The Democrats, like him or not, were always masters at doing that. Chuck Schumer and Pelosi were really kept them in line. And the last one that was ever able to do that, I really believe, was Newt Gingrich. And
Newt's been talking to Mike Johnson.
Who was the hammer? What was his name? Tom. They call him the Hammer from Texas. Tom.
Oh, geez. Yep. Oh, you had to, didn't you? Wow.
He was the last one in the Congress that used to. Tom.
Well, there was a meeting today, actually, with all the Republican representatives today
they got
in Washington with President Trump.
Yeah, as much as I like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she needs to stop rabble-rousing.
But I'll tell you, she wasn't part of this.
No,
this deal.
Not this time.
She wasn't part of this deal.
No.
She has conformed. She understands what the agenda is with President Trump. And
you think she was only rabble-rousing when
I do.
When the Democrats were in play?
I do. I absolutely do.
Yeah, but she was one of the reasons why McCarthy lost.
Well, and I'm going to tell you right
him
now,
and the guy from Texas. I mean, from Florida there.
McCarthy needed to go.
You didn't like McCarthy?
Deep stater.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
You think him and the turtle were in cahoots?
Well, I think there was some stuff going on there, and
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. Oh God.
Dude, I'm so glad he's gone.
Oh, thank God. Let's a round of applause for that, huh?
Mitch McConnell gone.
A lot of them. But
Mitt Romney gone.
yeah, I mean these are.
We need to get rid of Murkowski next.
Yeah, oh my God.
And what's the one in Alaska?
Well, Murkowski was the one who was starting.
Was it Murkowski? Isn't Murkowski out of Maine? No, Collins is out of Maine. Murkowski is out of Alaska. Both of them got to go.
Yep. I mean, but let's look at this whole deal with Speaker Johnson. There were 3 newly elected representatives, okay, that were endorsed by Trump, that were theoretically elected
because
under
of
the
Trump's
Trump
coattail.
policy,
Sure,
right? And they were steadfast at going against
because they wanted committeeships. That's why.
Well, that's look at me, right?
They should be taken to the woodshed.
And I think they were today. I think when the rooster comes home to roost, in the form of President Trump, I think they were told
because he demands loyalty.
He demands loyalty, demands respect. He commands respect. I'll just say that he commands respect. I don't think he demands
because of his handshakes.
Yeah. Oh,
like chicken wing there?
Oh, he comes in.
Did
hard.
you see him with the French Prime Minister?
Yeah, it was awesome. It's awesome. I'll tell you. He like him or love him, he's got balls that swing, and he doesn't.
I don't care what people think. Foreign leaders, I think, are elated that he's back in town.
I think most are. I think most are petrified, and the ones who are petrified, you're seeing, are leaving their offices. Right. I mean, look at Canada, Britain. Right.
Did he quit?
Yeah, he's resigning.
Oh, glasses already.
That's awesome.
I think the computer's updating it.
Yeah, I think it is too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a great 2025 here, Jay. I think the Two Guys and a Mic podcast is going to have vast success. I'm committed to.
Well, we have
to being
actually
on here. So.
Speaking of Two Guys and a Mic, well, TGM Studios, Two Guys and a Mic is something different, but TGM Studios, I think, is going to be signing on 2 new partners here.
Yeah, that's.
I think. Well, I don't want to say anything yet because I don't have actual formal paperwork, but one's going to be a conspiracy show. Deep dives and rabbit holes and stuff like that.
I like it.
And I have somebody else that is in talks with me right now to do local business forums and stuff. So
yeah, I think that's an important piece too, right? Yeah. And TGM Studios, obviously this is the parent podcast, right? Two Guys and a Mic. This was the brainchild of Jay and Mike Vincent,
which I sorely miss. I have to say.
We love Mike. Mike, we're here for you. Every time I get to fill in for you, I feel honored. So
it's a big seat.
It is a big seat.
You don't fill it well. You don't fill it well at all.
No.
I don't have the glare like I usually have.
Man. Hang on, let me just tilt.
Oh, there it is. There. Hi, Mike.
Yep. But no, I think when you look at it here, the podcast is picking up a lot more followers. This is it's a great platform, and
I mean, you know what? In 2024, we started in 2024, and the fact that we're able to accomplish what we accomplished,
huge,
in a really part-time deal, and not knowing anything, we had some good people come in and help us set it up together, and plus we did a nice freaking thing for Asheville and Hickory, North Carolina. Benefit. That was awesome. A lot of people stepped up and helped, and it was a great 2024. And in reflection, we had a good time doing it. I made some new friends, some good acquaintances, and
well, when you look at it here, I mean, you have a show out of the studios here, the Phil Barrett Show, right?
Phil Barrett Show.
I mean, that show generates a lot of followers.
We have the New York Playmakers.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Stay tuned to what goes on. I think it's definitely you've the investments that are made by the TGM group. here to not only make the show better, but to bring in new talent.
Yeah.
I think your lineup here has been great. I'm always honored when you ask me to come on.
Thank you.
Because I think it's a great opportunity not only to talk, but
and you love to do that.
but to get the message out there too, right?
Yes.
I think that's the biggest part, right?
Well, the thing is, people, they want to be engaged. You want to know. I mean, one of the things that we want to start working for 2025 is having the ability for when we podcast for people to directly communicate with us as we podcast. So it'll be almost like a very
interactive
show with live. Maybe people get people to call in and do Zoom in and conference in and text. That's all things we want to work on. And I want it to be so that people on their way home to work or on their way to work, there's a new show every day for them to listen to. And something different. It's not the same old. You go in at 6 o'clock in the morning and the show they're talking about this, that, and the other thing. You turn in at 5 o'clock, they're still talking about this, that, and the other thing. And so every day there's something different and something new, something fresh. And always have banter and fun stuff. And
no, I think it's good. I think it's healthy, and I think the show's poised for success here in 25. And we can't do it with everybody out there in our virtual land followerships.
Oh,
right?
and I forgot to say, I think we are also looking at somebody that's going to be coming in and doing a racing show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I hear.
Oh.
That's what I hear. Yeah. This has been coming across my wire a little bit. Maybe some live shows from tracks on Fridays. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some good opportunity out there to really showcase not only our local racers, our national racers as well, and kind of bring it to life. I think that there's opportunity there to show what goes into racing, right? Not only people think, oh, they go out and they go around in circles, right? But there's a lot more behind the scenes stuff that goes on there.
Oddly enough, who's very, very passionate about this, Phil Barrett.
Phil Barrett is, Phil's a staunch supporter not only of our race team, but
That's right.
but Albany Saratoga Speedway, dirt racing as a whole, NASCAR as a whole.
Kart racing.
His son races.
Yeah, go-kart.
Is a multi-time winner, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, Cole Barrett, give it up. 20.
Woo-hoo!
Yep, he should have been torn down a few times, but he's a winner.
That's all right.
But no, I think looking at it as a whole, right? This platform is great. We can get messages out there. A lot of people probably sit there and think we're crazy for doing it, but
you should see my instant messages.
Yeah, listen, they're gonna pick us apart here, but it is what it is, right? And that's what makes our nation so great, and
listen, I don't want
why we're so passionate about it.
I don't want everybody to agree with us.
No,
I want people to think and say, hey, this guy's a total moron, but why is he a moron again? Well, I guess what he says maybe makes sense. Or I totally disagree because, see, I have no problems with people disagreeing. Tell me why you disagree. Or give me your position and we'll debate it. It doesn't mean we'll ever agree, but it's about thought-provoking, making you look at different reasons why we look at things a different way, or maybe we look at things the same way.
And we don't agree on everything. we don't, right? No, but there is though, right? We don't agree, and that's good, right? And it makes not only for good content for the show, but I think for you as the listeners, and we want the feedback. Give us the feedback. I mean, we were doing that live podcast, for the benefit to Asheville and for Hurricane Helene. And people were giving us live feedback.
That was fun.
They were calling, texting us and stuff and saying, hey, we can't hear you speaking to the microphone. You got too much wind.
That was one of the highlights of my year, actually.
I was tired
and
after that.
I'll tell you.
I talked my ass off.
People don't realize how hard it is to just talk. I mean, to not have dead air. So, I mean, on the screen that we're looking at right now, there's actually a chronometer, and it gives us, how much time we've talked and da-da-da-da. And, granted, we've been on right now for 54 minutes, 9 seconds, but, you don't realize, after an hour and a half, suddenly the conversation starts getting more and more difficult. And we did, I think, 12 hours almost. No. We did 9 hours. We started at around 11, and we got done around 8 o'clock, I think. So
and we had multiple guests on, and folks that we know, personally and intimately, right, to come on, and we're trying to like talk to him,
still tough.
The Patronani, Ben Patronani,
Yeah,
was
Benny.
great. He got
Dropped
on.
half the bottles.
Yeah, they're but I'll
was
tell you one
great.
thing. No, the Patronani clan came down strong.
Yes.
We can't thank everybody enough for what went.
It was for me. It was very humbling
Yeah,
because
Jay,
I kind of.
I know you talked about it
Yeah.
again, but let's just recap that.
I put
that
the
whole
call
deal.
out that we wanted to do this, and it was very humbling. The people that came out and supported something that was near and dear to my heart, and I knew that being in Waterford, we lived through some disasters, right? Hurricane Irene,
Lee
and whatnot when
Yep.
the village was flooded, and for me, seeing what they went through kind of sparked back some of that. I really wanted to do something, and I put this call out. I talked to you, Jeremy. I talked to Mike, and we said, we're going to do something. Next, it spiraled into what we collected, which was amazing.
Wow.
And then we got the
How many
opportunity-
carboys did you have?
What's that?
How many of those carboys did you have?
Oh,
Or
Gaylords.
Gaylords or whatever?
There was 9 Gaylords of
Full.
product,
Full. I mean, to the top.
and 9 pallets of water. We had Dagan Trucking actually take
The rest.
8 of those pallets, and we took one ourselves just to distribute it.
So when you look at that, right? Let's step back in time to that day. One, it was the honorable thing to do, right?
It was fun.
It was fun. But to see the people coming out,
It was awesome.
Some people we haven't seen in years, and there's people that I know that probably couldn't help, but they went out of their way to help anyways. All right, they reached in their pocket, and I don't mean I'm not. I don't know if that statement came out right, but they came because they felt the need
Or
to help.
or they felt compelled to help something in an endeavor that you were passionate about. And I think that's what I took away from it. Some of the people that came I didn't know, but they knew somebody else that shared the event or whatever.
A couple people came because we were live.
Yeah, and they heard us, and we had like 700 followers. And at some point, somebody told me there was over 1,000 people watching.
Yeah,
Which was amazing,
astronomical,
amazing.
right? When you look at it.
And shout out to Don and Paul's.
Donnie and that
Paul's.
crew, yeah.
He actually paid.
Yeah.
He donated, all of the makings for the breakfast sandwiches that I made out there.
They were a hit, I heard.
Actually, I got a package in the mail not too long ago, and it was a hoodie from Grand Rapids Trucking, and in a note it said, "Thank you so much for helping us out. My son, who hates eggs, still raves about your breakfast sandwiches being the best he's ever had."
That's
So
all the days at the racetrack cooking for everybody,
was
right?
Just that was just an amazing. That's something that nobody can ever take away from me, and I enjoyed so much.
Well, and how about your son?
And the pride I had in both my kids. My one son Ben stayed back.
Yep. But
to run the business,
Yep.
and my other and they donated all their time that day to unload cars and pack by Gaylords and help people out. And then my other boy who came with me jumped on a skid steer,
And went
unloaded
to work.
trucks, and he worked all day. We both
Yep.
did. It was proud dad moment and proud American moment, and just overall so glad I could help.
Yeah, it was definitely a
Proud of the 518 in the water.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Kudos to everybody out
Yeah.
there. Just doing a recap here on 24. It was pretty awesome to see. And it came together
speaking
within
of-
what, 4 days?
Yeah,
5 days?
it wasn't.
We talked on a Sunday. We
yeah.
talked on a Sunday. It was on a Thursday that went
Yeah.
off.
It's the story of my life. It's one of my wife. That's why my wife is a saint, because she's like, "Oh my God, what are you
Thanks,
planning
Gina.
now? What are you planning now?" But
It was cold.
summer, great summer. Recapping 2024. I had a lot of boat time, which I loved. Unfortunately, with the election, I lost friends, which that's not a highlight at all of 2024. It's a low.
Well, but let's take a look at that, Jay. I lost friends.
I did.
You know what?
I
lost family members too,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you. Here's the deal.
Thankfully, I didn't lose that, but
Here's the deal with that whole thing. If you can't be adult enough to put your differences aside, whether I voted for Trump, Biden, Harris, whomever, right, or supported whomever candidate, ex-candidate, we'll say, or whatnot,
or didn't vote at all.
or didn't vote at all, right? But you feel the need to ostracize me, my family, or my friends, then go away. I don't need you in my life. And I hate to be like that, but being adult, that's the problem I have is you cannot. I hear people. I couldn't sleep. I can't sleep. This is ruining my life. Listen, your life's going to go on regardless, whether who's in or who's out, right? Yeah. Is it going to affect you? Yeah, it will. Eventually, it'll affect you.
For me, what killed me is that the people that I lost were what I would consider good friends. So it came as a shock, actually.
Yeah.
And when their guy won in 2020.
Oh, it was a celebration, right?
Celebration. I put up with it. It is what it is. My guy lost. I'm not going to begrudge you because your guy won.
Yeah, it happens.
Yet my guy wins this time. Now I can't talk to you. Yeah. You're the hated enemy. Blah, 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 blah.
Listen, I've lost people because of being on the show.
And these are teachers.
Yeah. Oh, well.
What the frig?
Yeah. Well,
you're supposed to be the educated one? Come on.
Yeah.
And you know who I'm talking to. Fucking asshole.
Poof. All right, I'm right here.
I'm sorry.
I'm right here.
I'm just aggravating.
Yeah.
I would never, you know what it is? I would never cancel a friendship.
Right.
Or dismiss somebody because of their opinion, especially on politics. Or their opinions of anything because it's their opinion. I mean, I have friends that have done very questionable things.
Yep.
Well, I don't begrudge them for that.
No.
I mean, people make bad decisions. People believe wrong things. People have difference of opinion, and that's what it is.
That's healthy, right? And
it's just frustrating, because.
But I had people banging on me because of being on the show and stuff, right? And I look
really
at them like, oh yeah. They're like, I can't believe you go on there and talk like that. And I go, we don't say anything.
Must be your wife.
Direct. No. Nah, she loves me.
I know she does.
Yeah. Again, puts up with a lot of stuff. Let me tell you what. I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? She is she is a great woman because to put up with what goes on in the political side of things in my life and what I've been through, and what politics has cost me.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but I came out on top, and I'm winning.
At the end of the day, that's what happens. You realize who your friends really are.
Right? And if you don't have people who support you own a business, small business, right? Mm-hmm. I support your small business. You said to me, I'll square up with you. I don't need to get squared up with, right? You take that and you make money off of X or whatnot, and you need to do that. That's how I look at it. That's what friends do. They take care of their businesses. They take care of their families or whatnot, right? And people call me all the time. Hey, can you get me a job? I'm looking here. Yeah, I'll help you out with stuff, right? Because I think it's important that people help one another, right? And that's part of our society. That's what makes our society glued together and great. But for years here, I think there's been a lot of pull away from that type of mentality, and it's
division,
right?
Yeah.
Making everything very divisive, and I don't know. I just
red
hey,
state,
if you don't like
red
me,
state, blue still, blue pill, red pill. That's got to stop. At the end of the day, we're all Americans, and we all live in the same community. And granted, we may have a different path, but we all want the same thing: a secure life for our kids and for ourselves, right. and prosperity and fat bellies, and I mean, we all want. Nobody wants hunger. Nobody wants strife and hardship. Granted, we have different ways of getting there. We're not going to agree on it, but we all have a common path, and I feel like that's been stripped away from us.
Yeah, it has, right? And I think... I
mean, to the point where the Pledge of Allegiance is controversial. You know who somebody votes for because he flies an American flag.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's craziness. Unfortunately, it's a lot of these institutions, colleges, institutions. Is that what they call them now? Institutions? Learning institutions.
Mental institutions?
Yeah. That are really the center point of dividing the American ideology. So, I got a problem with that.
I think. Unfortunately, I'm glad. I'm glad in many ways that circling back, that the election of Donald Trump has at least put some brakes or put some resistance pressure on that movement, because I think it was bound to tear us apart.
It was, and you could see it.
It would be red state versus blue states is what was coming.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, Texas talking about secession. I mean, crazy,
well, look at during the whole Biden administration and the border. You had the federal government attacking a state for trying to defend its border against a sovereign country, where another state, Florida, was now giving troops, physical and financial aid to the state of Texas
to ensure
that the safety of its border, where North Dakota was sending reservists to help with the patrolling. So it was a realignment of our states against the federal government. This is not what we're about, guys.
No, but it was happening.
Yeah.
It was happening, and let's face it, it was coming. The
and I don't think,
civil. I don't even want to say it, but it was coming.
And I think that it all circles back to every vote counts. Could you imagine if the Republicans didn't come out and vote for Trump? We would have been even further along with this with Kamala Harris.
Well, I think it's evident, right?
It's funny how at the night of the election, I don't know if you felt this way. I was bracing myself for riots, because that's what everybody says. Oh, there'll be riots no matter who wins, and yet it was calm. It was there was like a national sigh of relief.
I was just going to say that, right? It was a sigh of relief, and you could feel it. You could feel.
The next day there was happiness. People were
my God! People were
unburdened,
jubilant.
Yes,
by what has been.
Unburdened by what has been.
And I just look at the loyalty of this administration to the American public. They've been void and vacant up until the last week here. Void and vacant since the election. Disgusting. They left the American people out to dry for weeks after the election, and now are coming in and making these laws, or
the Biden administration.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but and listen, we don't want to put a negative spin on everything all the time, but when you look at what is being done or what has been done
in the last 2 weeks,
in the last 2 weeks,
the last 4 years, actually.
Yeah, but even the last
4 weeks, especially.
Wow, you talk about hatred towards the American public and the country and the ideals of the United States of America, and the trampling of the
Constitution.
The Constitution is
people's rights.
Insane. It's insane. How about the first bill that was passed by our Republican majority?
Oh, the immigration one?
The Lincoln Riley, right?
Yep.
Congratulations.
I will see what happens in the Senate. I don't know if it's got the.
I believe it does.
You think so?
I heard it has the votes. So, it's wild. It's wild. That they couldn't get this.
What do you think of Biden's ban on natural gas water heaters?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But let's step back here. It's already happening here in the state of New York, right? But multiple suits have been placed, but they want to make your home completely electric.
And do we generate electricity in New York?
Very limited.
What we need.
Not what we've needed. I mean, listen, they shut down, Indian Point, right? They're shutting down all these nuclear power facilities that generated, megawatts of power
for how many years? And clean, no issues. Who's
buying them? Do you see this?
Bezos and Microsoft and 3 Mile Island. So here's the one disaster that every environmentalist points to: 3 Mile Island. Mm-hmm. How catastrophic that was. How many people died in 3 Mile Island?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nope.
And yet suddenly, Bill Gates needs massive amounts of electricity for his AI mining and for his AI tools for Microsoft, and yet it's okay for him to restart 3 Mile Island.
Up.
And where are the environmentalists and the Democrats? Crickets.
Yep, exactly. Well, because one of their people are doing it, right?
Give me more of that printed meat.
Oh, don't get me going on that. I'll tell you one thing.
We are meandering, by the way.
We're all over the place now, but
I love it.
It's crazy, right? 3D printed meat. What the frig?
I believe there was countries in Europe that banned it
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It's weird. I mean,
I'll be honest with you.
So here's Bill Gates that's going to say, we want you to have 3D printed meat because cow farts, but I'm going to fly my private jet to my huge yacht I'm going to park next to my $3 billion mansion when I take my private helicopter to the supermarket.
It's insane,
I mean,
people.
I'm exaggerating,
it's insane.
but that's what it is.
It's insane.
You know what I mean?
It's insanity. Well, how about Hochul?
Oligarchies.
How about Hochul? You know, the big environmentalist that she is.
Yeah, flying private planes all over the place.
$474 million of taxpayer money wasted on her flying around all over.
Well, as much I may not like Kathy Hochul, I don't have an issue with politicians using.
I do when you speak out of both sides of your mouth, right? When you're sitting there putting
that is the problem.
These unfunded mandates on local townships.
Well, speaking of unfunded, look at what they did to Saratoga County. Now because you have the population, you now have to have a county-wide Department of Health to do all the restaurant inspections and everything else. Where that's unfunded mandate. Just because you have an uptick in population, now you have to introduce a whole different division when the state has one already.
Right. That has done Saratoga County for years.
That's another thing people don't realize is, speaking of county mandates, you talk about taxes and whatnot. Medicaid in a county budget is paid for by the county.
Correct.
So that directly comes off your property taxes. And there are people who I argued with who think they're so goddamn smart, tell me all the time I don't know how money is spent in our county. That's exactly what happens. So the county, the state pays for Medicaid, the county must reimburse through property taxes.
Correct.
That's exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
And these are all unfunded mandates, and the state wants to omit themselves from all these things they're putting on to people that increase our taxes all the time.
Yeah, it's and who pays for it?
We do,
right?
We do.
So and you all out there. So it's wild. I'm praying that January 20th.
Okay, so with that said, since we're going to conclude some of the show here, but we're going to conclude on a positive note. So looking forward to 2025, what is your top 3 things that you think Donald Trump will do, excluding obviously what he said, like the immigration? What do you think are going to be his priorities in the first 100 days that you think he'll get accomplished?
Energy.
Which
energy
pretty broad.
Right?
What do you think he's going? What do you think he's going to be able to get accomplished with the majorities that he has in both houses?
Well, I think we're going to see what we call the big beautiful bill come through.
Reconciliation.
It's going to be 2 parts, right?
Yeah. Do you think they're going to break it up?
I think it's going to be
the immigration.
I think you got to break the immigration part off of the
Hands are cold, aren't they?
They are dying. Yeah.
It's cold in here, guys.
My coffee's cold. No, it's gone actually. But I think one less. You got it. But I think he's going to pound through that. I think he's going to open up. I think he's going to stop all us getting screwed over on the trade.
Yeah.
Free trade agreements that were signed. And it's not free trade. There's no free about it. We're paying for it. I think we're also going to see a reduction in payments to NATO. I think that's going to happen, which it should. It should. Why? That's for a whole nother day. But I think you're going to see that. I think our energy independence is going to come back strong. Everything's been sitting idle, and they're ready to fire these plants back up. Let's face it. We have to refill, I guess, our national reserves. Okay, down in Freeport, Texas. I mean, they're decimated. Yep. Decimated.
Oil reserves.
Our oil reserves, right? They're decimated, and they need to. We need to get them back up. I think he's gonna really force the issue here, and I think you're gonna start seeing healthcare. Healthcare is going to be a big one. I don't know if there'll be a repeal of Obamacare, but I think there's going to be a rewriting.
Remodification of it.
Yeah, modification or rewriting of it. So, which I think is going to be more beneficial to the end user, which is us, as opposed to the big pharma.
I think the biggest issue I have with our medical system, it's twofold for me. One is that you can go bankrupt because of medical bills. That I think is should never happen, for starters. Secondly, I think that that for medical insurance to be tied into a job, I think is wrong, because it stops people from getting the dream job they might like.
Right.
You know, if you have a dream job, let's say you're the best artist there ever was. Well, you can't pursue that because if you leave your job, you have no health insurance.
Well, right.
Granted, in New York, it's a little different because we have, the exchange.
But you're mandated to have health insurance in New York. I mean, and I'll tell you, having the ability to be on the town board and see, some of the costs of this, health insurance is through the roof, people. It's unbelievable what a township, a city, a village pays for their employees to have health insurance, even if their employees are paying into the plan as well.
Yeah.
It's and quite honestly, I it sucks. It sucks for the employees to have to pay for their health insurance. I gotta hand it to Supervisor Tallis and the team up here up there in Half Moon. They worked very hard to really try to eliminate any increases in health care for the employees, meaning taken out of their paycheck. They worked really hard to get the quality of health insurance that folks need.
Yeah.
But not gouging the end user, which is the employee or us, right?
So being self-employed to that point, so that I'm going to go back about 6 years now. I was paying almost $2,100 a month for healthcare coverage for myself and my two boys. And my wife, it was cheaper to have me and two dependents than have a family plan. So it was cheaper for her to get health insurance for just herself. Well, it was going to go up to almost $3,000 a month. So it was cheaper for my wife to quit her job that she really enjoyed at the dentist office, get a $15 an hour job at the time, working for the state, because of what they paid for health insurance, and I still made more money than what my premium was going to be with her diminished wages.
Insane, isn't it?
It was, my health insurance cost was more than my mortgage, my truck, my insurance, and 2 weeks of groceries.
Disgusting.
And yet, if you're an indigent person that made bad decisions in your life, it's free.
Free.
It was free.
It's disgusting.
Not that I begrudge anybody else, but there's I really believe there needs to be a little bit of a level playing field. If I'm stuck paying $3,000 for really shit coverage, there's no reason why you're paying free money for really good coverage.
That's better than yours.
What I mean?
Yeah.
I have an issue with that. So
I do too.
my big three things that I hope and I think
give it to us. Let's go.
Trump's going to do here. I think he's going to reopen Keystone.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to cut a deal with the Midwestern provinces of Canada to start the tar sands up back out and ship them down to Texas for refining. I think he's going to repeal the drilling off the intercontinental shelf.
So that's going to be a
tough,
big one. It's going to be a lot of years of lawsuits. So I think it's going to take a couple of years to get that done. But he can do it through a congressional act. So I
think that's what he's going to do. He's going to do that.
And I think that was part of the meeting today too.
Yeah, and because that's paramount. I mean, energy independence is national security. It needs to be coupled, one and the same.
It does.
This idea that just like Hochul, that wants to say we're going to put electricity in all our homes, yet we don't generate electricity in New York State. Where does New York get its electricity? Canada.
She's done.
So what if for some reason, Trudeau, let's say Trudeau stayed and he became stronger and really hated Canada.
Shut it down.
Or hated the United States and hated Trump. I'm going to shut down the electricity. Now all of a sudden we've abrogated our energy policy to a foreign country. Should never, ever happen.
Ever. But the Chinese government can get into our system. as the
true
Biden
that. We
administration
found that out.
confirmed that this week.
I also think what you're going to see is you're going to see a government that is going to push for manufacturing in this country.
Absolutely.
You're going to see Detroit really ramp up. You're going to see favorable contracts to the Boeings and the Lockheeds and all the American producing manufacturing jobs, GE. It's going to be a pro-America company first before a global company first.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge benefit. And I've always said if I was in charge of local government, it would be through purchasing would be within the town first, and you give it 10 plus or minus 10%.
Right.
Within the county, plus or minus 10%. Within the state, plus or minus 10%. Within the country, plus or minus, you know what I mean? It has to be local. I remember when I worked for my dad, we had bidded out this job.
How's Jim?
Jim's doing all right. Actually, I was hoping he was going to come down with the podcast today, but he just didn't feel great. So
It's cold.
Unfortunately, the door's closed. There's no heat in this room. But anyways,
No, but it's cold out.
it's cold out.
I don't even
but he
know
was
what's
out
up.
running around for me today. Actually,
Was he?
yeah, I had
Nice.
to get a motor for a piece of equipment, and he was actually running around for me. But anyways,
All right.
So we bidded out these boats for the New York DEC, and it was a standard boat. It was pretty much lined out exactly what they wanted. You know, this boat, this motor, these controls, this whatever. And I had bidded it out, and we were making no money on these boats. It was a winter project. The boats, we won in October. They had to be delivered by March. It would have been a complete winter project, so it would have covered our bills for the winter. Well, we ended up losing the bid by $19 a boat, which was, that's how
Part of the game.
bidding works. It is what it
yeah.
is. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Dad, I have no money left to put anywhere. So I called the guy who won it. He was at Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And we started talking. I knew the guy because we had met at a trade show for Keller Marine Service. His name was John. And I said, Jesus Christ, we're going through the same suppliers, same boat. It's Sea Arc Marine. It's Yamaha Motors.
Right.
His labor cost was cheaper because of health insurance mandates, and workers' comp was cheaper in Pennsylvania.
Bingo.
So they got the bid.
Yeah.
We didn't get it, a New York company.
Right. Go on.
And we're going back 30 years, but still.
But this is happening.
The point is, it happens everywhere.
All the
so
time.
to me, a New York company, whether plus or minus 10%, should have got that bid.
Yeah, it's the whole bidding cycle. That's a whole nother disaster.
Yeah.
You know, that the state mandates you to do. It's, that's again a whole nother show.
So I see that changing.
Yeah.
And lastly, I think he's going to change a lot of the way the education system is handled on the federal level. I think he's going to abolish the education department, put it back in the state's hands, and distribute that money accordingly.
Right.
I mean, there's billions of dollars that go to support the federal education department. Put that back locally and let the school boards figure out how to spend the money.
Absolutely, I totally and I agree to that too. And let's not forget Doge.
Doge, yeah,
they're coming, and they're already looking to make significant changes within the federal structure that is ultimately going to benefit everybody, every American. You're going to see billions of dollars. They're talking like $1 trillion of wasted money. Think about that.
Bridge to nowhere.
Yeah, just
how many times? Well, look at the budget the budget plan that Johnson almost lost his speakership over.
Yeah.
These little tiny blocks of budgeting to keep the government open. How much pork was slid into every single one of those? And that's what Trump and Doge and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy were saying. No, you have one budget for the year, and that's what you use. Because what happens, they would purposefully not run a full year budget so they can do
pork spending.
Pork spending, because they have all these little addendum budgets to keep the government open, so they can slide all their freaking pet projects in when they get kickbacks from.
Well, and that's exactly what happens, right? So I think what you're going to see is you're going to see that come to an end here. I think rather quickly. To your point about Speaker Johnson and stuff, and Trump supported that bill. He's like, just get it through. We'll worry about, day one.
Yeah.
And,
Start with a fresh slate.
Yep. Get it through. Worry about day one. But you had some Republicans who were like, "No, absolutely not. It's not happening." Come on, just play along for the next few days, few weeks, and move on. This nightmare is over, and thank God.
As Kamala Harris, we will turn the page.
Hey.
Well, Jeremy, thank you for joining us on this first podcast of the new year.
Yeah,
I
Happy
know that
New Year.
We went on for an hour and 24 minutes. Seemed like it went pretty quick,
It
other
did.
than the fact that my hands are frozen.
Yeah.
Our studio is not heated in this area because we want to keep the noise down, even though there's a lot of background noise. So we tend to close the doors and there's no heat. So it's outside, it's probably 19 degrees. Well, it feels like 19 degrees in here.
Yep.
So short of seeing our breath, it is what it is. But thank you for coming in and discussing some cool stuff. We meandered a lot, but we covered a lot.
We did. And, looking forward to 2025 here. And,
Yes, sir.
Giving back to the TGM studios and giving back to the show itself. This is a good platform. So
Yes, and
appreciate
thank
everybody
you.
out there.
Thank you, everybody. And until we meet again, as usual, ciao for now.
So long.
We were great. We were free. Had a country that couldn't
still on?
be beat. We were right.